Welcome back. Hope you're having a good morning. The SGX is suggesting we're likely to open up in the green, but there are plenty of stocks that we need to focus on and discuss. We have Prakash Diwan who joins us to help us out with just that. Hi, Prakash. Good morning. There were a couple of results that did come in, but I think the big, long-awaited deal between TCNS as well as ABFRL, well, that's got announced. Now, on the margin, it appears that this will be dilutive on the margin front. And I was looking at a Motilal Oswal note. They have pulled back the EPS estimates by around 18%. How do you view both these two stocks, particularly ABFRL? That stock could be under some pressure today.
Good morning, Nigel. So I do agree. It's a deal where probably ABFRL has chosen to pay for a expansion, with quick expansion, not just earnings. So very clearly, I think the kind of brand portfolio that they end up acquiring, and given their distribution, superior distribution strength, they'll probably be able to sweat it out much more. So you have a new segment that you add altogether, and you have a line that's probably well established. So you really don't have to invest into building the brand, but rather making it reach the people in a far more superior way, which they could do. And that means that it'll be probably back-ended. Once all of that happens is when the margins will start probably coming positively. But at this point, I think it's a very clear, conscious decision to utilize cash to expand quickly rather than organically. So I don't know whether it's 18% or whether it's 10, 12% in that dilutive sense, but it could be dilutive. But for people who believe in this story now, after it's kind of, broken through from a lot of the other hurdles that it faced in lack of scale, I think there will be takers for it at some point in time soon, but not maybe today itself.
Okay. The stock of the day, one of the stocks of the day, Prakash, good morning, could be Britannia, right? Rock solid numbers, margins at
Yes.
all-time highs. And the best part is Varun Berry is back for another 5 years as MD of the company. At this price, 4,600, is the risk reward still favorable? Because it's had a pretty strong run in the last many months.
Good morning, Sonia. So, you're absolutely right. What the company's done is it's set a path for growth for the next 4 or 5 years very clearly. And look at some of the newer segments that have reached the 100 crore club, I mean, you never thought that some of these sub-segments, these niche segments could kind of grow into, that 100 crore mark. Now, when that happens, and, thanks to all of that the margins are so significantly richer, the company also creates a moat for itself, as compared to a Vectors or as compared to some of the unlisted names which are competing or gnawing on its toes. Britannia is going to march ahead with a very strong moat given their utilization of the right price points and the right grammage. There has been some changes in the grammage across the industry, but Britannia has been most favorable in that sense where it's not kind of diluted their volume growth. So I think all in all, if you keep analyzing these metrics, and we've spoken about Britannia, even when it used to be about sub 4,000, saying this is significantly, offering value. I feel it might not be as favorable as what it was about 6-12 months back, but it will continue to give you a very significant growth path. So don't stay away from it. At some point, you will have to have it in your portfolio as compared to, let's say, a slow-moving, FMCG play like an HUL or even Nestle, which is kind of getting to be too big and slow. So I think Britannia is agile. Britannia's got that momentum. Those tailwinds are definitely working, and that's something which will probably last for much longer than just a couple of years.
Prakash, Federal Bank, good morning. What do you do with that one? It sold off 8% on Friday. A main problem was margins, which were under pressure. Although the management at the end of the third quarter had said that margins will be a little lower in Q4 as compared to Q3. And this is largely a function of deposits repricing. Your view on the stock and whether there are any broader implications, because deposit repricing is something which will play out. It's slower than repricing on the advances side, but it will catch up for most banks. Your thoughts?
Good morning, Rishan. Absolutely. So, Federal Bank margins coming under pressure because cost of funds going up. I mean, there's absolutely nothing surprising here. I mean, it's just a question of which quarter that digestion happens to the business. I mean, you saw DCB. DCB probably seems to be doing things with a lag, and that's where you have an multi-quarter high in terms of NIMs. But at some point in time, that will also kind of start rationalizing. So my sense is Federal Bank has all the all the building blocks to achieve that kind of a growth that they set out for themselves. And to be honest, there is no other bank in that size which is so competitively placed or strongly placed. So I've always liked the bank. I've liked the way the management thinks, the way the expansion on the MSME has been so successful for them without compromising on any kind of quality of the books. So this is a matter of time, and you're not at the beginning of the interest rate hike cycle, Prashant. Fortunately, you are probably staring at the fag end of the interest rate hike cycle, and which means that the cost of funds will only kind of start getting benign. So when that happens, you'll probably see margins come back. Growth is already in place. The expansion is in place. So the dip that you saw was probably because of the high expectations from banks, and Federal being one of the good ones, probably disappointed. So buy on dips is definitely something which is going to work for you.
Okay, the two other stocks I want to discuss with you, and I'll give you some time to ponder over it. One is Paytm, which has very good set of numbers, and the other one is Bharat Forge. There are some upgrades that have come in on the stock post the earnings. Nomura has upgraded it, but I'll give you some time because we have the management of Aether Industries joining us now. So Prakash, I urge you to listen into that as well.